Hello everyone, welcome back to Atreyu Crochet. So in today's video I am going to be showing you how to make a hat which will match this scarf. I think it was in take 4 of my crochet a scarf for beginners series that I made last year where I made this scarf. I will leave a link so you can check that link out if you want to learn how to make this scarf. But I've heard from several of you who are requesting a hat to go with this, and so I just had to think up of a little, quick and easy pattern, which I did today, and that's what I'm going to be showing you in today's video. Okay, things you will need include a pair of scissors, some yarn. Now this yarn is I love this yarn. I do love this. I love this yarn, but yeah, that's the name, and you can get this at Hobby Lobby. I don't see it online, at least not on Amazon, so I don't have a link for you, but if you go to a Hobby Lobby you can find it. The name is 875 / well, the color number is 875. The name is Royal Gorge. Okay, this is a medium 4 yarn, and it calls for a size I 9 crochet hook that is US 5.5 millimeters. Okay, I apologize in advance if my voice is not as soothing as many of you always say that it normally is. I am under the weather, but I really wanted to get this hat crocheted for you so that you could, get your gifts ready for the holiday season. So, yeah, no worries. It's a quick tutorial, and you guys will be able to crochet this hat in less than an hour. So, yeah, let's get to it. Alright, so just in case it wasn't clear, you only need this one skein of yarn, okay? We're not even going to use close to the entire thing. Alright, so we're going to start out with this slip knot. So wrap around your finger, twist, exchange. Now wrap this around your finger, and we're going to pull this loop over that one and off the finger, like that, while pulling up on the one that's still on your finger. We're going to insert our size I US crochet hook into the loop and pull like that. Now we're going to chain 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now we're going to put 15 double crochets into that first chain. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4. That's the first chain. Double crochet. When you make a double crochet, you always start out by yarning over first. So yarn over, go all the way back to that first chain. We're going to put 1 double crochet in there. Okay, and remember I said we're going to put a total of 15, so we have 14 more to make. Yarn over, go back in there for 2, go through 1, 2, yarn over, go through 2, 1, 2, yarn over, go back in there, yarn over, pull through to the front, 3 loops, yarn over, go through 2, 1, 2, yarn over, go through 2, 1, 2. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, back in there, and we're just going to keep making double crochets. 1, 2, yarn over, go through, 1, 2, yarn over, enter that first chain, yarn over, pull through to the front, 3 loops, yarn over, go through 2, 1, 2, yarn over, go through 2, 1, 2. Okay, now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 10 more. So let's do this. Okay, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and this tail, you can just kind of move it out of the way. 14, and then back in there one more time for 15. 15, okay? So let's be sure to count these. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Okay? So that is round 1. Round 1 should have 15 double crochets. Yes, we chained well, we left 3 chains by working into the 4th chain from the hook, or the very first chain that left us with 3 chains, but right now we're not counting that as a stitch. Okay, so we have our 15 double crochets that we actually made. So we're going to bypass this chain 3 that was left and go right to the first double crochet, slice the icing off the top of the cake, yarn over, and make a slip stitch by pulling all the way through like that. Okay, now we're on to round 2. Chain 3, 1, 2, 3. This chain 3 does not count as a stitch. It's just used to get us to the height of this round. And this round we'll get 2 stitches, 2 double crochets in every double crochet below. So by the end of this round, because we had 15 double crochets in round 1, we should have a total of 30 double crochets in round 2, not counting the chain 3. So right here we slip stitched into that first double crochet, so we're going to go back in there, same place where we slip stitched, and put 2 double crochets, 1, and then back in there again for 2. Okay, next stitch we'll get 2, 1, back in there for 2. Okay, continue putting 2 double crochets in every stitch around, and I will meet you there. Alright, so I've made it back around. I've put 2 double crochets into every double crochet of round 1, so I have a total of 30 double crochets. Okay, remember this chain 3 right there at the beginning of the round, it does not count. Okay, so I'm going to skip it and go to that first double crochet, the first actual double crochet, and I'm going to slice the icing off the top of the cake like that, yarn over, and slip stitch, so pull all the way through. Alright, so we just completed an increase round, right? Because we have more stitches in round 2 than we had in round 1. In round 1 we had 15, round 2 we have 30. And now for round 3, we're going to start out by chaining 3 again, 1, 2, 3. We're going to have a total of 45 stitches this time, because this will also be an increase round. The pattern for this round will be 1, 2. So remember, always go into the same place where you slip stitched. Okay, we slip stitched into that first double crochet there, so we're going to yarn over, and we're going to go into that same spot, that same space, and make a double crochet like that. So that's 1, but the pattern is 1, 2, so the next stitch will get 2 double crochet, 1, back in there for 2, and then the pattern repeats. Next stitch 1, next stitch 2, so 1, back in there for 2. Okay, next stitch 1, next stitch 2, back in there for 2. So continue with this pattern, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, and I will meet you there. You should end on the 2. See you there. Alright, so I made it back around and I ended on the 2, as I told you I should. Round 1, 15, round 2, 30, round 3, 45, and then we're going to bypass this chain 3 and go to the top of the first actual double crochet and make a slip stitch. Alright, so I always get questions about how do I know how big to make the circle. Well, it depends on the size of the head of the person that you're making it for. I'm making this, let's say for me, this diameter is too small to fit my head. You want to make the diameter of the circle large enough so that it fits at the crown of the head of the person that you're making it for. So I'm going to go one more round. Okay. Also, to really make this crisscross stitch that we're going to introduce after this next round easy, you want to try to end with a row that has an even number of stitches. Right now, round 3 has 45 stitches. Okay, it's not a big deal, but once we start the crisscross, you'll see why I say it'd be nice if you happen to end with a round that has an even number of stitches, which round 4 will have. So I'm going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and at the end of this round I'm going to have a total of 60 stitches, which is an even number. Okay. All right, so the pattern for this round will be 1 1 2. Remember, you always go into where you went in when you made that slip stitch, right? So we'll put a double crochet in there, that same place. 1, okay, next stitch, double crochet, 1, and the next stitch we'll get the 2. 1, back in there, same place for 2. Okay, so that's the pattern. Let's repeat the pattern. 1, next stitch, 1, next stitch, 2, back in there for 2. Okay, so 1 1 2, 1 1 2. Continue in that fashion, and I will meet you there. You should end on the 2. See you there. Alright, I am almost done. I have 3 more stitches, so I have one more iteration of that pattern to go through. Remember, the pattern is 1 1 2. I ended on the 2, so I'm going to start the pattern again. 1, next stitch, 1, next stitch, and last stitch, 2, back in there for 2. Alright, I told you that this round 1 2 3 4, round 4 will have 60 stitches, which is an even number, which is what we want. We want an even number of stitches before we start the crisscross round, okay? But imagine this was round 5 and we had 75 stitches, okay? Well, 75 is not an even number. So something that you can do, imagining that this is round 5, you could always just put an extra double crochet in that last stitch, and that would take you to 76 stitches, which is an even number, okay? Which is perfect for crisscrossing, okay? So that's something that you can do. If you happen to not end on a round with an even number of stitches, just add another stitch in that last stitch. As I said, this now when I add that stitch, that takes me to 61, which is an odd number, and that's not what I want, so I'm going to take that back out, go back down to 60, okay? So now I'm going to do something different. Normally I would slip stitch into the double crochet there, bypassing this chain 3. But instead of that, I am going to slip stitch into the 1 2 second chain up of this chain 3. So you have 1 2 3. I'm going to slip stitch into that second chain, yarn over, and pull all the way through. Okay, now I'm going to chain 3, 1 2 3, and now we're going to start the crisscross stitch. Okay, so if you have watched the scarf tutorial, you already know what you're going to have to do. We're going to skip this next stitch and go to this one, and we're going to put a double crochet in there. So I'm going to yarn over, go skip that one, go into this one, the top of it, make a double crochet, and then we're going to go back into the skipped one. Okay, so now we're going to yarn over and make a double crochet, go back to the one we skipped, and just put a double crochet like that. And that creates the crisscross effect. And we're going to keep doing this. So let me just point out, this technically is the next stitch, okay? Why? Because this stitch right here, that was where we put our first double crochet, right? It's kind of hard to see because of the crisscross effect, but if you just lift up on it, you see that this has a stitch in it, right? This has that double crochet in it right there. And then we went back and put a double crochet in there. So this stitch is technically occupied. So this is the next stitch, right? But we always skip the next stitch. So we skip that one and we work into that one. Okay, that's where we're going to put our first double crochet. So yarn over, go into that one, skipping that one. So go into that one, put a double crochet like that. Okay, and now we're going to crisscross. So we're going to make a double crochet, but we're going to go into the one we skipped, which is there, and make our double crochet like that. Crisscross. Okay, and now it'll be easier to see because that darning, weaving, tapestry needle is still in the stitch that we put that first double crochet in, that this is the next stitch, but we skip the next stitch and we go into the one thereafter, which is there. Okay, so skip, crochet, a double crochet in there, one, and then back into the one that we skipped for the crisscross. Okay, skip that one because this one has a stitch in it, so this is the next stitch, so we go into the next one thereafter to put our double crochet. And then you can say, oops, I forgot a stitch, let me go back and put a double crochet in the one before it, in the skipped one. This is the next stitch, skip it, go into the next one, put a double crochet, and then go back. Oops, I forgot. Let me put a double crochet in there. Like that, okay? Skip, double crochet, oops, forgot, let me put one in there. Okay, so you're going to continue with this crisscross effect, okay? And I will meet you once we get back around there. Alright, so I'm almost back around, and I just want to emphasize one thing. You always want to make sure that you have a double crochet that you skipped that you can crochet into. So I skipped that one, and that's why it's available, right? Let's say I messed up and I put a double crochet in the next stitch, like that. Well, when it's time to do the crisscross, I'll see, oh, I don't have an available double crochet. That means I forgot to skip one. So you'll be able to tell that you didn't go into the right stitch. So skip that one, go into the next one. And then when it's time to do the crisscross, you'll see, oh yeah, now I have it. Okay? So just keep doing this. Now, I just want to mention something. You might be so intrigued with the crisscross effect that you haven't realized that you have not increased. Okay, we haven't increased. This is not an increase round, which means that this hat is going to start to curl up on you. Okay, we're down to the last two stitches, which is what we want. That's why I wanted to achieve an even number of stitches. Okay, so skip, put the double crochet there, and then go back into the one we skipped to make the crisscross. Okay, and that's what we have. Isn't it a beauty? I think so. Alright, so now, just like with the previous round, we're going to slip stitch into the 1, 2, second chain up of this chain 3. 1, 2, 3, right? But we're going to slip stitch into the second chain up, like that. Okay, and now we're going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. And we're just going to repeat what we just did. Okay, and this one will be even easier. You'll know exactly where to go because you'll see. Okay, so skip, go into that one, like that, and then go back into the one we skipped. Okay, that one, and then go back into the one we skipped, like that. It's like you already did the crisscross in the previous round, so it's easy to see where to go. Criss, and then back for cross. Next one, criss, and then back for cross. And these crisscrosses should be just sitting on top of one another. This crisscross is on top of that one is on top of that one is on top of that one is on top of that one, and so on. Okay, I'm going to work on this and I will meet you here, and then I'll give you directions for how to finish this off. See you there. Alright, you guys, I'm back around. Okay, I just made my final crisscross, so I'm going to repeat what I just did. Slip stitch into the 1, 2, second chain up of that chain 3, and now I'm going to chain 3 more. 1, 2, 3, and then I'm going to start the crisscross again. So forward for the criss, and then back for the cross, going back into the one I skipped. Forward for the criss with that double crochet, and then back for the cross. Forward for the criss, back for the cross. Forward for the criss, back for the cross. Okay, so you can see this is my third round of crisscrosses, right? I started here. So 1, 2, 3, that's the third round. I'm starting my third round of crisscrosses. I'm going to crochet 5 or 6 more rounds of crisscross, okay? However long you want this hat to be, meaning some people may not want it to be super long, so maybe it'll just come to where the ears are on your head. Some people may want it to cover the ears, you know, if it's cold or during the winter. So that will determine how many more rounds of crisscross you make. But basically, we're gonna finish this hat out with crisscross rounds. So you're gonna end on a crisscross round, okay? So I'm gonna crochet 5 or 6 more rounds of crisscross, and then I'll meet you and we will be done with this. See you there. Alright, you guys, I am almost done. I got a couple of more crisscrosses to crisscross over, so let's just do it. Yarn over, go into the forward one for the criss, and then go the one in the back for the cross. Last one, here's the last crisscross, the forward one, the one that's going forward, go into that one first for the criss, and then go into the one that's going back for the cross. Okay, now because this is my final round, I'm going to bypass this chain 3 again, and I'm going to go into that first double crochet there, slice the icing off the top of the cake like that, and just slip stitch, pull all the way through. Okay, chain 1, cut my yarn, and fasten off. Okay, now I'm going to grab this tail and I'm going to pull it on the inside. So I'm just going to insert my crochet hook through some nearby stitches right up under, pull it in like that, get a loop, and now I'm going to chain 1 so that it tends toward the inside now while I create that knot. Okay, and then I can cut this down, and that will always serve as the tag so I'll know where the back of my hat is. Okay, but yeah, this is, I told you guys, it's very easy. Some might even consider it easier than the actual scarf. You know, we made those first few rounds of solid rows, right? We ended on an even round, and I said row, but you guys know I mean round. I ended on a round where I had an even number of stitches. Remember, you can always add another stitch to make it even if it's not automatically an even number. Okay, I didn't have to add an extra stitch. I ended on a round that had 60 stitches, and then I just started my crisscross rounds. And remember, during the crisscross rounds, I slip stitched into the second chain up until I got to the very end where I slip stitched into the actual double crochet. Okay, but yeah, isn't this beautiful? And this is going to go amazingly well with the scarf, as you guys can see. So yeah, for those of you who asked for this, I have delivered. I hope that you like this tutorial, and yeah, that's gonna be it for this video. Also, before I go, I just want to say I did a total of 9 crisscross rounds. Okay, obviously it's gonna depend on, you know, how long you want this to hang, how far down you want it to hang on the head of the person that you're making it for. Okay, but yeah, 9 crisscross rounds was enough for me. Alright guys, that is going to be it for this video, but you know I'll see you in the next one. In the meantime, happy crocheting.